Hello, my dear friends. It's an honor to be with you today. Thank you, Reverend Janamanchi, and all for allowing me to share a bit of reflection at these challenging times. Um, I begin my thoughts with you with just some thoughts that moved through me in the last day or so. As I traverse the dusty inner garden pathway between the heart and the head, my breathing slows as I reflect the pain, the frustration, the fear, the energy draining feeling of uncertainty as I ask myself the question, what has happened to us? How have we gotten to this place of undoing, dividing, inciting chaos? As a musician, my journey is with music. This morning, as my wife and I were having some coffee, she said, she used this beautiful term, speaking music. And I realized that that's a huge part of my journey, is to voice through music that which will inspire and remind the heart. I give honor and thanks to my teachers from West Africa and from the Middle East who have guided me on the pathway of understanding and living into this. How do we find our way back to articulating our humanity, or even more broadly articulating our humanity? All over the world, I started to make a list and I kind of stopped, here in America, with the challenges that we face in terms of seeing, feeling, and being with each other in kind, caring, and supportive ways. In Israel, Palestine, in Ukraine, in Armenia, in Africa, in Myanmar, throughout the world, our ability to feel each other. I was reading a book several weeks ago because I also live in the world of helping to collaborate with art and science to articulate and quantify the fact that art, creativity, our ability to create together is a very, very important part of our health and well-being, and also one of the strongest ways that we can enliven our desire to articulate the highest level of our humanity. I read this passage that spoke about the felt sense. It was in regards to the vagus nerve, this very, very important nerve that runs through our body that really is kind of the meter and guider for so much of who we are health-wise. And it talked about the power of the felt sense. And it actually almost brought tears to my eyes because my wonderings and my experiences when I have been in conflict places. For instance, I spent a tremendous amount of time in Israel, Palestine, engaging in creating spaces where people could come together and feel each other, know each other's stories, authentic stories, not that which were told or taught by someone else. But I've lived in my life the reality that when we give ourselves the opportunity to look into each other's eyes and share each other's stories, we come to feel a sense of commonality. We come to feel a sense of our humanity. All week long, I've been sort of deluged by focus. What do we do? What do we do about this? Look at what's going on in the world. What do we do? What is it that we can do to change? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And I was guided many years ago to realize that our journey towards transformation, understanding is not just a doing thing, it's a being thing. Every day I ask myself the question, who am I and who will I be today? How will I be with others? How do I choose to be? What are the threads in the tapestry of my being? And may that being guide my doing in the world. Who do I choose to be? Who do we choose to be? You know, here in Florida, I work as artist in residence and also community engagement specialist, and I oversee an initiative called Arts and Health, Arts and Healing. And so I do a lot of work communicating about the importance of creativity and art and beauty and what each and every one of us has to offer in this journey towards manifesting and authoring beauty in the world. And so, I work with young folks and adults on all levels. And just this past Wednesday, I was in a class and I was talking about voice and singing and language, that and how to understand that in terms of song and how song and melody can touch another by the way that it's sung. But I also said to them, and these were kids around 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, I also said, and that's another reason why it's important for us to really be aware of how we speak to other people and how we engage with other people with our voices and with our eyes, being, looking at each other. And a young man raised his hand and he said, Mr. Johnson, you talk a lot about beauty, but there's so much anger in the world. Why are people killing each other? Why it feels like there's a lot of hate. What's the song? What's the melody for that? How do we change that? What do we do? And I said, well, Victor, we have to remember to see people differently. We have to really, really see and honor and acknowledge that everybody, that all of humanity, all of our earth, all living things, our relationship to the grass and the trees, and our relationship to the wind and the weather, our relationship to each other, most importantly, our relationship to ourselves. It's been my experience, my friends, is that a lot of the work that I have done in the world, both in the Middle East and here in America, when we give each other the opportunity to listen, one of the most important things is to listen. And when we hear the way an individual speaks to themselves, there's a lot of space for learning to love and find peace within ourselves, to find a way to communicate and acknowledge this amazing gift of life that each one of us has been given, to journey, to learn, to expand our capacity to know and mirror beauty and the divine for all into the world. And so I would ask you to consider a couple of things. Number one, this is clearly not a time to place blame. I believe that our Creator, creation, in all ways that we know and recognize, are offering us an opportunity to realize how much deeper we can go into seeing and being with each other. What we refer to as the inner garden in my sacred practice. Really being able to see and feel, have that felt sense. We know what it feels like. We know what it is. Look at tragedy, look at pain, look at storm, look at devastation, look at challenges that we face in the world. We feel that. We don't just see it. We feel that. But is that a reaction as opposed to a natural instinct to be aware of how we feel and how we make others feel? A journey of being. a journey of engaging and being with each other in another way, a journey of calling forth and having that internal conversation in every moment. For truly, I think you'll agree with me that the breath of life itself is the greatest gift. I think the more I live, the more I understand that concept of being in the world, but not necessarily of the world. But I would expand that to be in the world and be that which is alignment with all of creation and all of created things. You see, we here in the West, we tend to departmentalize things. There's an ecological question, and then there's a sociological question, and then there's an economic question. There is the question of being. There is the question of knowing and acknowledging in every moment that all life is precious, that all life is a gift. With every breath that we take, we volunteer to continue the process of being in this world. In the great indigenous cultures of the world, before any conversation was had about what the community would do and the plans that the community would make, the community listened to stories and remembrances of history, from whence they came. The community sang and the community danced together and the community ate together so that they would come into a place of heart coherence and then move forward together. As a young boy in the 60s, moving through the challenges in America of civil rights and discrimination and the work that so many did together in order to move us closer to an aspiration of freedom, I was moved at a very early age by Mahatma Gandhi, and his influence and his wisdom guidance that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. took and moved it through our struggle for civil rights for all. And there was a quote from Mohandas Gandhi that has really become kind of a moniker, kind of my meditation remembrance. Mohandas Gandhi said, "He who cannot see God in the eyes of the next person he meet need look no further." If I, in every moment, can be committed to and breathe into truly seeing, truly feeling, truly knowing, understanding, and connected to my connectedness to all living things, to all, and this is not like this is not utopia. This is a part of how we know that. You ever watch the eyes of a young child, a baby? Once they're able to focus, they look at, they breathe in everything. They're inquisitive about everything. They wonder. Everything to them is new and beautiful, and they move forward in that way until someone shifts their focus to another place. Have we shifted ourselves away from that felt sense of what it is to be, of that felt sense of our connection to one another, of our felt sense of a desire to hear, to listen, to feel, to know each other from the inside out? Finding our humanity. It's in there. It's in us. It's within us. Can change happen? Can we know peace? Yes, I believe. As we commit ourselves to go deeper into finding a sense of peace within us, as we go deeper into that felt place, that felt sense, You know, this book that I read also said that the felt sense is an undeniable sense. It goes back to that old concept of, you know, you can argue all day long with a philosophical idea, with some academic idea, but you won't argue with how you're made to feel. And so, with all of the terror, horror, challenges, division going on in the world, can we individually ask ourselves the question, do I want this for me? And if I want this not for me, then I dare not want it for another. With each breath, we are connected. The one great essence that connects us all is the breath of life itself. We are one in that reality, regardless of our philosophical philosophies, our comings and our goings, our tallness, our shortness, our whatever. We receive from the edge of paradise creation, the breath of life. We breathe that breath in and it sustains us. Our journey is to steward our commitment to give that breath back in the loving way that creation gives it to us. Can we find our humanity? Can we be one with each other? Transformation lives in the cradle of that journey. And this simple little song that we sang and shared earlier, come by here, my Lord, come by here. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. And I finish with a prayer from Hazrat Inayat Khan. Save me, most holy, from the earthly passions and the attachments which blind humanity. Save me, most holy, from the temptations of power, fame, and wealth, which keep us away from thy glorious vision. Save me, most holy, from the souls who are constantly occupied in hurting and harming their fellow people, and who take pleasure in the pain of another. Save me, most holy, from the evil eye of envy and jealousy, which falleth upon thy bountiful gifts. Save me, most holy, from the games, the playful games of the earth that hurt another, lest we might use these games that in the end break us apart like toys destroyed by a child. Save me, most holy, from all manner of injury that cometh from the bitterness of my adversaries, and from our ignorance and unknowingness. Come by here, my Lord, come by here. Quicken us, O Lord, to remember, like when we were children, that the beauty of creation exists in every moment. May we mirror that into the world as we find our humanity with every breath, with every breath. for all who suffer with every breath. May we find transcendence with every breath, and peace with every breath. Amen. Amen. Namaste. Thank you.